Hi everybody, Miss-Elaineous here, taking you to yet another offbeat, interesting and quirky tourist attraction. Today I have been into Valentines Mansion, which sits inside Valentine's Gardens, which sit inside Valentine's Park. It sounds a bit like a Russian doll, doesn't it? This is all in Ilford in Essex. Click on like, click on subscribe and hit that notifications bell. Come and take a walk in my shoes as I introduce you to the resident ghosts, including one who is definitely evil. I'll show you the beautiful rooms where you can get married, and I will take you to the kitchen quarters which were once detached from the house. I will see you in the video.
There's the owl and dovecote in the gardens as you enter, and you enter Valentines Mansion via a porte cochere, which is a covered entrance large enough for vehicles to pass through. It was added in the 1810s by Charles Wellstead. Up until that point, the entrance to the mansion had been around the back as we know it now. Let me tell you a bit about the history of the mansion as we walk round. It was built circa 1696 for Elizabeth Tillotson and her family. After her husband, the Archbishop of Canterbury, died. The house has changed hands many times since then. In the 1720s, Robert Sermon, a city merchant and banker, bought the estate. It was during his time that the dovecote, grottos and gardens were created. In the 1760s, only Charles Raymond renovated the house, giving it its Georgian appearance and spending part of his fortune on doing so. In 1906, the last private resident of the house, Sarah Ingleby, died. In 1912, the council acquired the house. The house was then used as a home for wartime refugees, hospital, public health centre and a council housing department. In 2009, after standing empty for 15 years, the house and gardens were restored, following Redbridge Council and Heritage Lottery funding. The kitchens are to the left here. They were once not joined to the house. That was due to the risk of fire. That's the drawing room behind that balcony. You can get married in there, and the balcony makes for a nice photo call afterwards. We're now on the south lawn. Sometimes an event takes place here. I've been to a rather interesting play. It was Romeo and Juliet. It's a comedic version by the troupe called Oddsots. The only problem I had is that we had to sit on the ground and watch it, which gave me a very sore jacksie. If I ever go to such an event again, I'm taking a fold-down chair as I don't want an arthritic coccyx or piles. I've been to a vintage fair. I've also been to a Christmas fair. They hold events for kids as well, like Easter egg hunts. Here I am looking into the Holcomb room. Now this is the morning room where you can get married. We'll have a look inside there later. I'm walking to the edge of the property where there is a ha-ha. Now a ha-ha is a ditch with a wall designed to keep animals either in or out without obscuring the view. It's called a ha-ha because of its surprise element. You don't notice it's there until you get there, and you could fall in. The dovecote in the distance, and that was built between 1740 to 1760. It once housed pigeons and doves. We enter via the lobby. It was, of course, added at the same time as the porte cochere, so that the residents and visitors to the house didn't get their feet wet in going between getting from their horses and carriages entrance to the building. Valentine's Mansion is not open all the time, 2 days a week and for special events. The beautiful stained glass installations are by artist in residence Amanda Seljuback. She's one of 9 artists in residence here. They have their studios on the 2nd floor. Now this entrance may have been the dining room once. When I say entrance, I mean the part just beyond the lobby here. You have a desk here with either workers or volunteers to greet you. The grand fireplace is certainly worth a look. Now this part was once the servants' hall. Disabled and disabled access and toilets to your right. I love this. You walk into the kitchen and you get the voiceovers, giving you some idea of the hustle and bustle. Now the kitchen was built in 1810 and it was built to connect the square to the main house. It has essential high walls and ceilings to keep the room cool. Here we have a meat skillet, behind that flat irons.
Do you want me to bring it through? Oh, no. Just a couple and reposition the dairy with the heat coolers in our work. Oh, take that
Old-fashioned
and bring it in
range.
there, will you? And bring the potatoes in the stove. Of course.
The coal scuttle. We had coal fires in our house, so we definitely had one of those. The beautiful table, the display cabinets, pictures giving you some indication as to the history. We're walking through into the scullery. Now this is where the messy work would have taken place. Here we have a bread oven behind the door. I think it would be just as good to put pizza in there. All the things you need to wash clothes. And I always think what you can't see is as important as what you can. So I had to have a nose behind this curtain. What did I see? Nothing important, just a butler's sink. My nan had some of these things, and my mum inherited the tin baths. My friends and I used to use them as paddling pools. My nan had a ringer like that and an air. Peeling vegetables would also have taken place in this room. Here we have sacks of very lifelike vegetables. They're definitely not real though, I did have a poke. My mum owned a mincer like this. Leftovers from the Sunday roast would go in here, to be made into cottage pie or a casserole. Some history on the wall for you to read. And we're now going into the pantry. Now this is where lavish items such as glazed fruits, meat and wine would have been stored. Look, there's a modern fridge here. I guess they needed somewhere to dump it. Only the butler would have had the key to the pantry. Here's the meat safe in the corner and it's open. You can still buy bowls like that nowadays. Some things never go out of fashion. This is the dairy room. It was the cool room. Don't forget to check out my blog. I will always be a writer for anything else. This was in the days before refrigeration.
No bits of straw floating around it this time, either.
Oh, got a bit of it. I'll call by next point of mine, shall I?
Well, I won't let Mrs. Finley catch you. Now get back to that farm. There must be
Making
something
down
you
on
should
here,
do.
milk churns. More lifelike vegetables. Eggs in the corner. One final look through before we leave. And it's on to the main part of the house. That's Charles Raymond up there, one of many owners of the house, and we're now into the gallery. This appeared to be an exhibition by youngsters. The ages on the walls were 15, 12, 16. I do like these kaleidoscopes here. Well, that's what I think they look like. I've been to several different exhibitions here. The one that I remember is Artists in Lockdown. As I mentioned before, there are 9 artists in residence working upstairs, and they put on a rather impressive exhibition. I'll show you a couple of my favourites in a second. A piano in the corner, and we're told to admire with your eyes, not your hands. Very wise advice. This was my favourite piece on display at this time. But I'll show you artist Lisa Atkins' work from the exhibition that I mentioned. This reminds me of a beard. And this reminds me of my face and hair, although my hair is somewhat darker. We're now going into the bird room. There's a static exhibition to the left. The Edwardian style dummy to the side here has a brooch on it that reminds me of Marchesa Luisa Casati, who lived from 1881 to 1957. Now, she was a gay icon and had a brooch like that on her grave. She was considered to be the Lady Gaga of her day. This looks like a housekeeper's dress with keys. This box of keys picture used to be on show in the mansion, but it's not anymore. A cabinet of Ilford photography equipment. The factory used to be nearby, but it's not anymore. This bird room once used to be a billiard room around 1854, and it was fashionable in the 1800s to display birds in cabinets. They would have been shot in the park and included woodpeckers, herons, rooks, and magpies. They were probably shot by Charles Holcomb, the owner at the time. Some Coleman's mustard in this artefact cabinet. Now, where the dummy is, right next to that, the original door would have been. Now, this room is named for Charles Holcomb, who moved in around 1840. It was once a breakfast room overlooking a conservatory, which is not there anymore. Clement Ingleby is on the painting. This fireplace is considered to be the most ornate in the house. Now, this room smelt lovely. Look, you have a plug-in air freshener here. That's why. This is the morning room, and it serves as a wedding room. I think this is the nicer of the 2 wedding rooms. It's small and intimate and beautiful. Up the stairs, and they are oak with barley twist spindles and Regency windows. A little love seat here. A dress in the corner. Beautiful ceiling. I've got a picture of this dress which looked like she's floating. I prefer that to the way it is now. Up the stairs and to the left are what were once servant stairs. They now lead up to the artist studios. They do have open days here, and I have been before, but they were closed on this day. We're heading into the Regency parlour. If you get married, you can use this room as your reception room if you want. This was once the Ingleby's bedroom. Lots of information on the walls and mirrors so you can see me darting in and out. A cute little table and Regency style wallpaper and some excellent views of the park. And into the drawing room we will go in a second. The drawing room is another wedding room, and to the right is the balcony where you can go out and have your picture taking. And you have some beautiful painted glass windows. This is my favourite room, the Raymond Room, named for Sir Charles Raymond, who bought the mansion house in 1754. This is a cabinet of curiosities, and it's devoted to Charles Raymond and his family. It's an homage to them. He was a ship's captain for the East India Company and therefore allowed to undertake private endeavours. His work was very successful and allowed him to purchase this mansion. I love these maps. The painting in front is a reproduction of Southwark Fair by William Hogarth. He painted the original in 1733. We are now heading into the bedroom, and the palette wallpaper is inspired by the original wall carvings which featured outlines of birds. They were found on the wall panels that had to be removed from the bedroom. I do like this little fireplace, sometimes less is more. Could I sleep in this big bed? Hell yeah. You have a gentleman's Regency costume in the corner and this beautiful dress. I would wear this. Red and black. My colours. There's a vain old tart in the mirror, and you'll soon see a triptych of vain old tarts, or should that be triptych? My pronunciation of words is not great, mainly because I did a lot of silent reading as a child, as I was a real bookworm. Therefore, I often had to guess how to pronounce words. I think it's a trait all of us bookish lot suffer from. As we go down the stairs, let me tell you about the resident ghosts. There were thought to be 4 here, a boy, 2 girls, and a wicked adult man. The mansion has been investigated, and one staff member said she could feel someone pulling at her hair. Some participants claimed to see mist around the door. A photographer said she felt a hand touching her face and playing with her hair before a pressure bore down on her chest as if someone was pinning her down. Ugh. A 13-year-old girl came through. She was killed by the head of servants for becoming pregnant with his child. It sounds very much as if some form of child abuse has gone on in this mansion in the past. Isn't that just horrible? Back through the entrance and the lobby. One last look at the beautiful stained glass installations. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. Do take the time to look at my Valentine's Park vlogs. If they're not up already, they will be up soon. We're now walking across the South Lawn. We'll exit over the ha-ha and into the glade.
Thank you for watching. Come and see me soon for another miscellaneous adventure. Remember to hit like, hit subscribe and click on the notifications bell. Ta-ta for now.